education, and productivity across sectors, key for national and regional development and transformation. I mentioned this how to show you how striking these numbers are, how motivational, how triggering they are in order to use as a tool for advocacy. Policy and program developments made through advocacy to improve nutrition and food systems. So many nutrition policies, strategies are developed, or almost 5 major strategies are developed. I'm not going to list them all. And when we look to the nutrition advocacy in action, having noticed that about 25% of children from poorest families in Addis Ababa come to school with empty lunch boxes, pretending as if they have something to eat during lunchtime. These children had low academic performance, high dropouts, and absenteeism. Using credibility and trust on us, discussed the issue with education sector authorities and teachers in schools as well as private sector. I, therefore, was able to mobilize funds from local and international primary schools, which are, the number approaches to 1 million, which I have been feeding only 20,000 students. Since the model is taken over by the Addis Ababa city, now it became successful. Now our school meals project is moved to pastoralist communities in Bernazama and Hamar Waradas in the remote south part of Ethiopia, where over 2,000 children in 5 public primary schools are benefiting using the same mode of delivery. And the zonal administration now is looking forward again to overhaul the school feeding program in partnership with WFP and other organizations. The zonal, okay, I have said it so. Working on social determinants of health and nutrition, and me and my husband has out of the office when we left the office and established an NGO, an international NGO named HRF, Haile Mariam and Roman Foundation. And in that, we have undertaken so many development issues, which is dealing with education, school feeding, in that girls' education, economic empowerment, environment conservation, and so on. I don't have time to mention all those, so our work continued in different form, in NGO form. So we are trying to address all the issues of which matter, especially in pastoralist areas. So I advise all First Ladies and other advocates to advocate strongly by having good evidences, and secondly, undertake pilot projects in order to drive our advocacy, in order to build a trust among public. So by saying so, I wish you a very successful event here today. And let me repeat the motto of today: grow, nourish, reward, bold action for resilient food systems. I thank you for your kind attention.
Thank you very much. Please, a round of applause to the former First Lady of Ethiopia. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm sure you will agree with me that who else to speak about diets than our very own mothers, the mothers of our nations. Please, another round of applause. And now please allow me to call Her Excellency Josepha Sako, the Commissioner for Rural Economy and Agriculture at the African Union Commission.
Thank you, moderator, for giving me the floor. Good morning, every one of you. The guest of honor, Her Excellency Janet Kagame, First Lady of the Republic of Rwanda, Her Excellency Auxilia Mnangagwa, First Lady of the Republic of Zimbabwe, His Excellency Haile Mariam, the Chairperson of the Agra Board, Her Excellency, former First Lady of Ethiopia, Dr. Agnes Kalibata, my dear sister, CEO of AGRA and Secretariat of AGRF, Her Excellency, Executive Director of the Commonwealth, my sister, we just met in Libreville about 4 days ago. Esteemed honorable ministers present here, esteemed partners in attendance, distinguished participants, ladies and gentlemen, all protocol duly observed. Thank you, Your Excellency, for honoring us with your presence, First Lady. There are challenging time as our continent has been gripped by persistent hunger and malnutrition. The 2022 report on state of food security and nutrition in the world indicates, I'm sharing these data with you because hello, I'm sharing some data with you because we are talking with proof and evidence. So the 2022 report on the state of food nutrition and food security and nutrition in the world indicates that Africa is backsliding and bearing the heaviest burden with 278 million people hungry in 2021. That represents 20.2% of our population on the continent. We are not happy to see such statistics because it's unfair that we cannot even feed our people. So I think, First Lady, we thank you for really your commitment to be here and to create a platform so that we can discuss what is happening. We don't want to have meetings upon meetings and nothing is happening. And anytime we have to assess the statistics of food, the status of food security on our continent, we are always the last. When we have all the conditions to feed this nation on our continent, we have 60% of arable land, uncultivated arable land. We have Africa is the region which population are younger, we have the youth, we have water, we have all the ecosystem that we should come out from all these statistics. So with this population suffering, this is 13 million more people than 2020 and 46 million more than in 2019. So if we don't really start action, we are going to increase the number of people that don't have access to food. And this picture is not good. As leaders of this continent, it doesn't honor us. Now we have been going from one shock to another. So we have had conflict in our continent, climate change. Now we have a COVID-19 pandemic, which is still around. And also we have the Russia and Ukraine conflicts. So we need really to start working and not talk less. Action, because I'm coming just from Libreville. Yesterday I was in Rotterdam. The narrative is always the same, let's change. But how can we change? And I believe that First Lady here, I hear that we need to change. We need to do something. It's unfair for us to live as people, cared of our level, and leave this the new generation in this painful distance. So this is really a challenge for us that we should advance with our agenda. I am the Commissioner for Agriculture and Rural Development. I'm really concerned. I cannot leave my mandate without doing anything. So I'm asking you, First Lady, join us in this effort. First Lady Janet, Excellency Janet Kagame, I know you are my champion in plastic for East Africa. We are going to really work because I'm also the Commissioner for Environment, so we need to really work together with you, First Ladies, so that we can improve the livelihood of our children, of the young generation, because we are mothers, and we cannot allow our children to be starving in Africa. This is a mother speaking. Now let me continue my speech. At the same time, we have issues of overweight, obesity, and non-communicable diseases related to the quality of diet that are increasing rapidly, worsening morbidity and mortality rate. Malnutrition, but is doubling every day in our continent, year after year. The good news, however, is that solutions are emerging. The African Union Commission, or the African Union, sorry, declared the theme for 2022 as building resilience in nutrition and food system, so that we can collectively confront the scourge of malnutrition and food insecurity in Africa. The former First Lady of Ethiopia said it rightly, we really need to tackle nutrition aspect of this theme of the year. The UN Food System Summit held last year under the special invoice, my sister Dr. Kalibata, under her leadership, that was held last year, also recommended game-changing solutions that can assist us to transform food system across the globe, such that they become resilient and healthy. Moreover, the African Common Position that we presented last year during the UN Food System clearly outlines feasible pathway for resilient food system to ensure access to safe and nutritious foods for all. So we have a 44 game changing in our common position. I also call upon partners to assist us to implement this important common position for food system if we want to really advance the nutritional agenda. In this regard, it is an immediate necessity to increase access to and consumption by all of healthy diet. This is, of course, not an easy and straightforward feat. Above all action needed, it requires high-level commitment by countries' leadership to innovative intervention for increasing healthy diets. Such commitment includes to prioritize the allocation of resources for production of micronutrient-dense food crop and animal source foods. We encourage you, distinguished First Lady, to champion such intervention for supporting the vulnerable to invest in nutrition-sensitive agriculture and animal production. Africa is endowed with indigenous food crop and animal breeds, looking at the impact of Russia-Ukraine crisis in Africa. Bread is not a staple food in Africa, except in North Africa. We know that we are talking about evidence, because if you look at how many people eat bread in Africa, 70% of our population are rural, and they eat the local food. We have sweet potato, we have cassava, we have a lot of our own food, so we need to really tap upon that and bring our local production on nutrition agenda. I enjoy Your Excellency, the First Lady, to invest in the promotion of indigenous food sources that are rich in nutrition content. Climate smart and resilience as a valuable strategy for diversification of agriculture and defeating hunger and malnutrition. Your Excellency, First Lady, distinguished participants, ladies and gentlemen, in line with the agreed transformative agenda of the UN Food System Summit, please allow me to use this opportunity to outline some of the efforts that are going on at the continental level under my leadership to keep the banner of nutrition flying high. Promoting biofortification of stable food and industrial fortification of complementary food to deliver better diet for children. As you may be aware, biofortification is one of the elements of the nutrition-sensitive National Agricultural Research and Investment Strategy. I am pleased to report that this initiative has received high-level political endorsement during the African Union Summit of February 2022, with adoption of the declaration of scaling up food fortification and biofortification in Africa. My department developed operational plan for scaling up and mainstreaming biofortification in Africa and mainstreaming biofortification into country seed system. To further elevate the conservation of healthy diet, the 13th edition of the African Day for Food and Nutrition Security will be commemorated in Lusaka, Zambia, under the theme Action Towards Eradicating Malnutrition and Poverty, an integrated approach for resilient food health and social protection system. This is an important invitation to you all to join us at the national and continental level to advance the cause for adoption and implementation of coherent nutritious food policy and strategy. The 18th Comprehensive African Agriculture Development Program, CADEP, Partnership Platform meeting will be held under the theme Nutrition-Sensitive Agriculture, a pathway to strengthen resilience of agro-food system on the continent, with 4 sub-themes including promotion of orphan crops and indigenous food, and indigenous foods in view of importance of nutrition security, and homegrown school feed program for improved food and nutrition. The 13th meeting of the African Task Force on Food and Nutrition Development is currently ongoing in Gaborone, Botswana, to ramp up support for implementation of African Nutrition Strategy 2022-2025. Excellency is just to say that we are really creating a platform for discussion and action on this important issue. Excellency's First Lady, distinguished participants, ladies and gentlemen, the Commission and my office in particular stands ready to support your esteemed office should your excellencies be willing to champion the cause of increasing the production, processing, access and consumption of healthy diet in our continent. Following the African Common Position of the UN Food System Summit and the outcome of the summit, the onus is now on all of us, including our development partner, to facilitate and support our member states to implement intervention proposed by the UN Food System Summit. I am pleased to inform you that my office and that of the CEO of AUDA NEPAD is taking the lead in developing a continental strategy for coordinating, domesticating, implementation, monitoring and reporting of prioritized national intervention, which are informed by the African Common Position and the outcome of the summit. Subject to our endorsement in this special event, we will be pleased to facilitate a platform of African First Lady for increasing access to healthy diets. Such a platform will be useful in sharing experience and recommending actionable policies and initiatives for increased production, access and consumption of healthy diet. I suppose this will be a valuable step forward towards moving from rhetoric to action. So First Lady, I submit and pledging that we really need that platform so that we can work coordinated with your bureau. It will be quite prudent if our First Lady, our Excellencies, who use our various platforms to rally behind the momentum to elevate and champion the action and investment needed to increase access to healthy diet, while being mindful of protecting the environment and climate to feed the future. I wish Your Excellency fruitful deliberation, and I thank you so much for your kind attention. Thank you very much. Merci beaucoup. Asante sana. Muchas gracias. Shukran.
Thank you very much. A round of applause to Her Excellency Joseph Sako, the Commissioner for Rural Economy and Agriculture at the African Union Commission. Your Excellencies, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, we'll now be hearing from the First Lady of Ghana, Her Excellency Rebecca Akufo-Addo, who is joining us virtually.
I am pleased to join this year's AGRF Summit to share my thoughts on increasing access to healthy diets. Of the basic necessities in life, I consider none more profoundly critical to humanity's collective development and well-being than good nutrition. But for far too long, our continent has been plagued by food insecurity and malnutrition. Food insecurity and malnutrition rates in Africa are still unacceptably high. About 60% of our population is affected by moderate or severe food insecurity. This is the highest level globally. 1/3 of the world's undernourished also live on the African continent. Most countries in Africa are facing the triple burden of malnutrition, namely stunting, wasting, and obesity. Not surprisingly, diet-related non-communicable diseases such as cardiovascular diseases, strokes, and diabetes are on the increase. A major concern for me is how stunting and wasting disproportionately affect African children and the resultant implication for our continent's future. It is inconceivable that with our favorable natural environment, we are facing a food crisis with the potential to get worse as a result of the war in Ukraine. We know what the major drivers are. An unresponsive food system means people are unable to feed themselves with the quantity and quality of nutrition required. In recognition of this growing challenge, the African Union during the 35th Ordinary Session held in Ethiopia declared nutrition as the theme for 2022. The declaration challenges AU member states to ensure nutrition is made a priority in order to promote access to healthy diets for citizens. To achieve this noble goal, we must urgently transform our food systems to make healthy diets more accessible, desirable, affordable, and sustainable. This means we need to take urgent action to change the ways in which food systems are currently managed, governed, and used. This is essential to achieve the goal of sustainable, healthy diets for all. High-level political leadership is required across board. It is time for all leaders to advocate for adequate financing, implementation capacity, and coordination to drive effective implementation of food system transformation. First ladies across the continent also have a huge role to play. We must champion and advocate for the needed transformative actions and investments to increase access to healthy diets today, while also protecting the environment and climate for the future. I also want to make a passionate appeal for the global community to increase investments relating to food systems transformation. The time has come for us to deal a definitive blow to malnutrition in Africa. It is important that, together, we build a wave of political support and investment throughout the continent to promote nutrition and end malnutrition. Thank you.
Ghana, to the First Lady. It is now my great pleasure and honor to welcome the First Lady of the Republic of Rwanda, who is also our guest of honor, Mrs. Jeanette Kagame. Please, a round of applause.
Thank you. Right Honorable Patricia Scotland, QC, Commonwealth Secretary General, Excellency Haile Mariam Desalegn, Excellency AU Commissioner for Rural Economy and Agriculture, Josepha Sako, my dear sister, Excellency Mrs. Roman Tesfaye, Dr. Agnes Kalibata, President of the Alliance for a Green Revolution in Africa, honorable dignitaries, distinguished guests, good morning. Allow me to begin by congratulating the organizers of AGRF, the premier platform for the disruptive leadership around agriculture as an enabler of integrated, equitable, and sustainable growth. This stage is ideal, setting to discuss an issue so pivotal to Africa's accelerated economic growth, to the development of our continent, and I dare hope, the future of Africa's green revolution. It presents a prime opportunity to effect groundbreaking and lasting change. The truth is, the facts are alarming. Due to the COVID-19 pandemic, political instability and conflict, climate change and widening wealth gaps, food security has deteriorated rather than improved around the globe over the past couple of years. I say alarming, esteemed guests, but not damning. Budget reallocation, strategy policy adjustment, and determined advocacy could put us on the right track to meeting our global 2030 ending world hunger goal. Ladies and gentlemen, this 12th AGRF summit under the theme Grow, Nourish, and Reward, Bold Actions for Resilient Food Systems is very well chosen to address AU Agenda 2063 and the 5 Ps of sustainable development within Agenda 2030, namely people, planet, prosperity, peace, and partnership. Indeed, this theme is ideally situated to reinforce the AU's year of nutrition. In matters of health, individual and social progress, and indeed overall welfare, nutrition is the inception point. Good nutrition is the cornerstone of health, peace, holistic wellness, and prosperity. It's well known that people with healthy eating habits and patterns avert obesity and non-communicable diseases, notably heart disease, diabetes, and even some cancers. Therefore, to champion for good nutrition across the world is a necessary feature and of any responsible leadership. Ladies and gentlemen, as you all know, the 6th edition of the Global Report of Food Crisis came out in May this year. It gives valid reasons for concern. According to this report, the alarming high incidence of acute food insecurity and malnutrition starkly exposes the fragility of global and local food systems that are under mounting strain from the increased frequency and severity of weather extremes, the COVID-19 pandemic, increasing conflict and insecurity, and rising global food prices. The interconnectedness of drivers is further laid bare by the unfolding war in Ukraine, which not only compromises the food security of those directly affected by the war, but compounds existing challenges faced by millions of acutely food insecure people worldwide. End of quote. Honorable guests, we are told that a projected 660 million people may still face hunger by 2030, half of whom will be on our continent. This reiterates why peace and security are non-negotiable. One of the main drivers of food insecurity in Africa is conflict. Conflict creates internally displaced persons who are no longer able to till their lands and maximize production. Other factors include the high cost of food, where it is available, of course, and income inequality and climate variations. As the AU has raised before, there exist on the continent 2 polar nutritional problems and a shrinking gap between these two. We are now suffering from both undernutrition and obesity. I shall not venture into explaining to the experts in this room why obesity is less distant from undernutrition than we might think, and why a lot of modern manufactured diets we espouse may well have leave us both lacking in nutrients and at the same time alarming overweight. How do we achieve healthy, balanced farming and fishing-based diets? We must draw wisdom from the global trend of a return to indigenous agriculture practices, greater consumption of biofoods, and regular exercise to purge lifestyle-related diseases. Esteemed guests, the RNAs targets a 40% reduction in stunting in children aged under 5 by 2025. The strategy commends Rwanda and our sibling nations, Senegal and Ethiopia, for the significant reduction achieved in our respective countries over the past few years. But we still have a long way to go. Allow me to share a few minutes remaining of a few facts regarding innovations in Rwanda that address the issue of food insecurity and nutrition. And I hope that I won't overwhelm you with details this early morning, but hopefully the Rwandan coffee you had with your breakfast was strong enough to make the next few illustrations engaging. The first is the Rwanda focus on beans as a superfood in our land of 1,000 hills. Over 90% of rural households grow beans across all agroecological zones, contributing to 32% of their calories intake and 65% of their protein intake. This leads to less resilient on red meat. We understood earlier on that we were vegan before all this started, which is growing less affordable, is widely linked to diseases such as gout, and is known to increase greenhouse emissions. Rwanda has also strived to diversify its approaches to combating child stunting, as earlier mentioned, under nutrition-sensitive development frameworks. It's been enrolling successful models across the country, such as the Early Childhood Development Centers, a partnership between the government of Rwanda, Imbuto, which I have the honor to chair, and UNICEF. ECDs prioritize healthy nutrition and healthy habits for children in and out of school. The Rwandan government has instilled and actively monitors the implementation of food-related policies, enriching the most consumed condiment, and that is maize flour, wheat flour, oil, sugar, and salt. Rwanda has instilled a 1 cup of milk per day per child policy, which complements the country's attribution of over 400,000 cows to families in need. Similarly, locally instilled practices are school feeding for children and our 3 fruit trees per home campaign. And last but not least, to complement the attempt to good nutrition, community-friendly practices have been instilled, such as a monthly umuganda for a clean environment and a bi-monthly car-free day for exercise in public spaces. Ladies and gentlemen, Rwanda is obliged to employ homegrown solutions, both as a geographically small country and as one whose survival and progress have been rooted in self-protection and self-sustainability. Nutrition-wise, this has meant investing in land consolidation and crop intensification programs, local production of improved seeds, making farmers less dependent on imported seeds, access to which was heavily compromised during the pandemic and excessively financially burdensome throughout the years. 80% of the improved seeds used in Rwanda are now sourced in Rwanda. We believe that these practices align with the AU's ambition of increasing productivity, accessibility, desirability, affordability, and sustainability in our food systems, a mirror to our own national strategy for transformation. Ladies and gentlemen, as Rwandans, we are delighted to have been named by the African Union Commission as the best country overall in implementing the Malabo Agricultural Transformation Policy Framework for the 3rd year in a row. Honorable guests, I applaud the commitment you have shown in championing good nutrition for the citizens of your countries. We must never tire in using our respective public platforms, our resources, and our access to advocating for nutrition and agricultural research, and to implement our own programs in the fields of agriculture, nutrition, climate resilience, and wellness. Ladies and gentlemen, again, thank you for taking the risk in us, the First Ladies, with no legal framework and no accountability. I thank you for offering me this opportunity to express my passion for health and good nutrition on our continent. And until next time, let us never forget that the citizens of our countries are owed a healthy planet, healthy nourishment, and a healthy life. I thank you.
Please, another round of applause to a guest of honor, the First Lady of the Republic of Rwanda, Her Excellency, Mrs. Jeanette Kagame. Thank you very much. And now, Your Excellencies, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, we now move to a very exciting session where we will be hearing from the round discussions and also the awarding of amazing women entrepreneurs who have been doing a very good job on this particular continent, and that will be moderated by the CEO of the Conversation Strategist, Ms. Nonzipo Shabalala. Thank you. Please, a round of applause to Shabalala.
Ladies and gentlemen, can we give Fiona a big round of applause for an excellent job so far? Thank you so much for the introduction. Now, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to do two very special things in the remaining time that we have together. First of all, we're going to start off with a dynamic, robust, and engaging panel discussion. My panelists are standing by and eager to engage you. And then we're going to celebrate, and we're going to shine the line and amplify some of the women agripreneurs that are in the room here today, many of them who have been doing stellar work, sleeves rolled up, and really deserve the recognition that they're going to get today. But first, to the panel discussion. We heard our First Lady reminding us once again that this is the African Union Year of Nutrition. And the challenge to African governments and partners is, how do we put nutrition at the center of all recovery actions, not only for COVID-19, but also as we seek to ensure that we are transforming food systems. And so this panel discussion is about shining the light on the best practices and asking the question, how do we scale these? It's about going back to traditional food systems and asking ourselves, how do we leverage these traditional food systems in the context of climate change? And of course, we are here to also ask the question, what are the structural market factors that are making access to affordable nutrition out of reach for many Africans today, and how do we begin to change that picture? So joining me on stage, please help me welcome Honorable Dr. Idefonse Musafiri, the Minister of State of Agriculture in Rwanda. Let's give him a round of applause, please. Your Excellency, any seat on the stage. Ladies and gentlemen, Her Excellency Gerda Verberg, coordinator of the Scaling Up Nutrition Movement. She's coming up. Let's give her a round of applause. We're joined by Professor Ruth Onyango, founder and director of Rural Outreach Africa. Welcome, Professor. Dr. Gunhild Stordalen, founder and executive chair of the Eat Forum and founder of the Food Forward Consortium. Thank you very much. Dr. Gunhild, thank you very much. And we're rounding it off with Madame Kumbaso, the FAO country director for Rwanda. Let's give her a round of applause, please. As Ms. So takes her place, and Ms. So, I'm actually going to start off with you because I believe that with the vantage point of being at the FAO, you have a bird's eye view over some of the global best practices that we can begin to shine a light on. The question to you is, given the global situation, the impact on food security, and what that means for access to healthy diets, what are some of the best practices that you've seen as a response? And how do we then begin to think about how we bring this closer to home? Technical team, can I have more sound on stage, please? Thank you so much. Go ahead. Technical team, let's try once more.
Hello, can you hear me?
It's coming.
Perfect. Thank you so much. Allow me first to say good morning to the excellencies in the room, starting from First Lady Janet Kagame, that we have the pleasure to have today, the excellencies, First Ladies in the room and virtually connected, but also Prime Minister Desalegn, President of AGRA. Thank you so much for having us here. You know, I've been hearing the numbers this morning, and it's true that when you talk of food security and numbers, it's always very dark. But I would like to get back to a few years back. MDGs, it was in 2015. By 2014, we had already 72 countries in the world that achieved the MDG 1C, which is the target of halving the undernourished people in the world.
Yeah.
Many of those countries were in Africa. Even other countries, they achieved the most difficult goal of the World Food Summit, which was to reduce by 2 the absolute number of food insecure people. What does it mean? It's possible.
Yeah.
The message that President of AGRA, Agnes, mentioned yesterday, it's true that the numbers are rising. We're talking of more than 800 million people today that are food insecure. It's due to COVID, it's due to conflict, it's due to many reasons, and women and children are the ones that are taking the burden of this food insecurity. However, there are solutions. If I look at Rwanda, I will not go very far away. I arrived in Rwanda only a month ago when I took function. The first thing that I saw is that policies are there and they are right. When we talk of food insecurity, healthy diet, policies are there. Actions are there. Investments are also coming in. One very interesting program that I've seen that the government is already starting to scale up, which started as a pilot, is the school feeding programs.
Right.
Homegrown school feeding programs using locally produced food to make sure that children, this is very important, and let me tell you why. In March 2020, figures were saying that in 160 countries, one in two school children had school meal program. During COVID-19, all this went, fade away. So it's very important that it is coming back today, and government is really taking it very seriously, adopting it at at national level, and including it in its own budget. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Madam. So school feeding programs work, is what I'm hearing you saying. And of course, we did see some disruptions during COVID. In fact, in other parts of the continent, including my own country, in South Africa, we needed civil society organizations to go to court to make sure that school feeding programs were reinitiated. And so you're saying they work, where there's good policy, action and investments follow. Okay, so let's build on that. Professor Onyango, let me come to you, because you're sitting at the sweet spot where you are working in academia, you're working in policy, you're working with communities. The question to you is, how do we go about anchoring nutrition at the center of sustainable food systems? Is there a clear pathway in terms of how do we get that right?
Thank you so much, and let me just thank everyone, and especially my baby sister Agnes, for bringing the Food System Summit to Rwanda and for putting nutrition at the center of what we do. Yes. I have worked on nutrition since childhood.
Yeah.
I gave up doing medicine to do food when I learned that food is the medicine.
Sure.
So really, for me, even if I left this world now, I would say my mission has been fulfilled because we are talking of nutrition. We can't talk of food and we can't talk of anything else without including nutrition. For me, food is good food. It's safe food. It is who we are.
Yeah.
As we sit here eating these foods in big hotels, great food, if you ask anybody here, what are they missing? It's the food they grew up eating and what they eat at home. So really defines who we are. And I'm glad that we're at this level right now. So in terms of policy, yes, I've been a policy maker. I've helped to make policies.
Yeah.
But policies don't translate into anything. Policies, it's just talk. It's rhetoric. I heard the mayor of Entebbe yesterday saying, can we talk less and do more?
Yeah.
So I'm hoping as we live here, all of us are going to say, what are we going to do when we go back? Secondly, Africa is the continent #1 naturally. How can we be hungry? After Corona, imagine, I've survived the 2 Corona episodes. We should be talking of sending food to Ukraine instead of crying that we are hungry because of the war.
Yeah.
Finally, I'm back to children, primary school children. It makes it happens there. And I'm happy to see the former First Lady of Ethiopia. We've been through Ethiopia with Sasakawa Africa Association. We work there, and I see a lot of changes at the ground level. And what Her Excellency Janet Kagame has said, they are doing a lot in Rwanda. I'm from Kenya, by the way. But I love Rwanda better. Because, yeah, I'll admit, I'm an African.
Yeah.
I go to every African country, and I see what is good there, and I feel proud to be African. And we can do it. Let us be proud. But we need resources. I've seen young people very encouraged. I've listened to young people here, women and men. They are so encouraged. You know, take the continent. We should be ashamed to see an African child malnourished with kwashoko, emaciated, and it makes me cry.
Professor, thank you.
you.
Professor, thank you so much. I think she deserves a round of applause for sure. The question is resounding. How can we be hungry? How can we be hungry? Given all that we know about the abundance and the richness of the continent, how can we be hungry? But you've said to us, let's talk more action. You've said to us, more leadership. You've said to us, focusing on the local. But you've also said to us, the money has to follow. Are we really thinking about resourcing and investments correctly? So, Madam Gerda, let me come to you next. And I want to tap into the Sun Movement, which we know is catalyzing learning across continents and across a number of countries. What are you seeing as coming to the surface in the form of best practice? Again, my question remains, how do we scale that in the context of Africa?
Yeah, it's not, first of all, I would like to say that the food is good. It's good to be in Rwanda, and I should give my 2 minutes to the professor because she is from here and she is living everything she is telling us. But I very much like this, this session because First Lady and former First Ladies are talking straight from the heart. Leaders should do so, and political leaders should act like this. So as the former lady of Ethiopia said, it's not only that women are responsible for nutrition. No, leadership should be held accountable, politicians should be held accountable for acting and working on nutrition and not only lip service. I couldn't agree more with my neighbor on this, including through investment. And don't tell me that nutrition is too complicated, because that is what we hear as well. There are many people like the professor here who are really happy to work with legislators, etc., to bring it into legislation and policy, and also to help to do the budgeting. So no excuses anymore. This is not a matter of only female leaders. This is something that political leaders should be held to account, not only at country and African level, but also at local and district level. So for Rwanda, I would say elect your next mayors on a campaign on how they will invest in their people, starting with children, in nutrition. Because nutrition is the cornerstone for all sustainable development goals. And Her Excellency Jeanette Kagame has already said it. It is creating health, peace, stability, progress, prosperity, but also development for the whole country. So it would be a crime against humanity if it's not happening right now, from now on, because everything is ready. The food systems are there, all the studies are done, so it's now a matter of acting and being held to account. So I have a few suggestions here, and a request to Her Excellency Madame Kagame. Madame, you have a foundation. And as Scaling Up Nutrition Movement, that's where SUN stands for. Your country, your beautiful country, is a member already from the beginning. But your foundation can encourage the people working on nutrition and collaboration on nutrition a lot. May I suggest that your foundation, the Imbuto Foundation, is reaching out to the civil society in Rwanda to work with them on nutrition, and prioritizing youth and working with chefs, because you were mentioning the healthy diets, but it's very regrettable that these healthy diets and indigenous crops and very nutritious crops are now labeled as poor people's food. So there is a new branding that is needed, and you as First Lady and Commissioner of the African Union, thank you so much. You can be a champion for rebranding and bringing to the surface the important indigenous and too often forgotten crops that can provide the healthy diets. So these are the things that I would like to say, and I would like to make one additional suggestion, which is the following. I love the title, Increasing Access to Healthy Diets in the Year of Nutrition, but I would like to make one amendment.
Yes, go for it.
Please replace into from and onwards.
Lovely.
From the African Year of Nutrition
and
onwards, because that is the only way to get nutrition, not only onwards, but also upward.
Excellent, Greta. Thank you very, very much. So we're editing in the flow, but editing with meaning. And I don't want to lose what you've said. You've said that nutrition is all of our problems. And as we sit here today, men and women, everybody's got their own stomach. So we have to make sure that it's all of our responsibility to bring about the change. You've spoken about accountability. What I've heard you say is the question we should be asking our mayors before we elect them is, what is your plan when it comes to nutrition? What is your plan for children?
But also the vice mayors, because they are...
Advise them as well.
They have a high responsibility in social development, including nutrition in the districts.
Fabulous, and a beautiful tie-up to the point from Professor as you call for rebranding. Professor reminded us that oftentimes the thing we miss the most, the thing that's most nostalgic, is the food you grew up eating. So how do we go back to those traditional food systems and rebrand them in the way that allows us to access them now? Honorable Musafiri, let me come to you. Whenever we see an effective intervention, it oftentimes has two things. It's multi-sectoral and it's multi-stakeholder. If we were to lift those two things up, how could we use them to scale up nutrition in Africa? And to what extent might that also assist us in overcoming some of the structural market barriers that keep people away from accessing nutritious food?
Thank you, Chabarara. Thank you so much. First of all, Your Excellency, First of the Republic of Rwanda, ladies and gentlemen, let me thank all of you for this incredible seat that I'm having here. When they display that, I will be featuring the panel of First Ladies. Everybody will think it's a mistake, but as you can see, it's not a mistake. This is Rwanda, so I'm happy for this seat. And as agriculture, the Minister of Agriculture is concerned, we are normally in charge of making food available.
Yeah.
And because we're in charge of food as a kid, and then we make sure that the food is properly used. So we are in charge of this too. If you ask me how we can do that, some good examples or some good practice we are implementing in Rwanda, and everything we do is within a multi-stakeholder approach and between government and agencies, ministries, and international organizations and partners. But if you tell me to give you some practice, some simple examples or practices we are using, I can only repeat what Her Excellency, the First Lady of the Republic of Rwanda has said. That's why I'm implementing in Rwanda, and of course, if Africa can follow also, they are welcome to replicate some of them. But let me just mention some that we do as Rwanda to make sure that we make food available and accessible and well used. So if we talk about, we start by production. If we implement the crop intensification program, if we make sure that we increase productivity, that's in the line to make the food available. That's where we start. That's number one. And number two, if we harvest, make sure that we don't lose everything. So nutrition will happen if we make sure that we use everything we produce. That's where also the government is investing in post-harvest handling, bringing more cold chains, transportation systems, reducing aflatoxin, to make sure that at least in the fresh produce, what we produce, they get on the fork or on the plate without losing the content. So it's in the part of what we implement, and it's very important. Three, we have, and First Lady mentioned it, we have 1 cow per family. So in this kind of diversifying what we are supposed to bring to our citizens. So the President of Rwanda has also initiated 1 cow per family. Make sure that people have access to milk. It's not about food, it's about what they drink. To diversify this nutrient, to tackle malnutrition. So far, the government has provided more than 300,000 cows.
Sure.
And now I think the fruits, the results are coming. So this is a best practice. Maybe that can be also followed across Africa. So over the past 10 years, we have initiated the kitchen gardens. Make sure that each family has a kitchen garden, so that at least we have fresh vegetables around the home, and to diversify what we eat in our homes. In Ministry of Agriculture, and today in Listen to You, we are also trying something new. We are piloting the food composition table, where we are trying to say, let's see what is the content of what we eat, what the scientific content of what we eat, so that all Rwandans get informed. This is what we get. These are the nutrient that these are fat, these are the lipid that are there, so that you make sure you eat what you know.
Yeah.
And we have been conducting even the nutrition campaign. So we realize it's not only about what you have. We realize even some rich districts that produce more, that are more fertile. We realize maybe they have a lot of number of stunting.
Yeah.
And yet they are more productive, more fertile. So we need to conduct nutrition campaigns, and we have been even doing milk campaigns, milk drinking campaigns with the other partners. We partnered with the other, like WFP, FAO, to conduct these school feeding programs with other ministries.
Also with chefs?
Yes,
also
of course.
With young
of course,
people?
with the chefs, and yeah, of course, this is very important. And this to make sure that then the most important thing, as I want to mention, is what also First said, on early childhood development program, where we start with the lives of mothers when they are still pregnant. And we think about the mothers and children. Yeah. And when they are born, they go into early childhood development program. And on this, I want to take my single honor to really appreciate the work done by Her Excellency, the First Lady of the Republic of Rwanda, who I consider personally as the mother of these early childhood development centers. And then they're doing a very great job, and it is really reducing the impact of the stunting very drastically. So it's very something to applaud at this particular time.
And I hope you will continue to champion breastfeeding, because Rwanda is one of the countries in the world who has the highest level of breastfeeding. But then more investment in the nutrition of young women and lactating mothers is so important.
So, Honorable, I'm going to give you 10 more seconds. I know that you probably want to respond to that, but let's also get you 10 more seconds because we've also got chefs in the room, and we're keen to hear from them. They're going to react to a little bit of what they've heard on stage. So
let me take my 10 seconds. But this one is very no way not
Yes.
and also considered. Now, the most important last one thing I want to mention, that I think why we are doing maybe that Africa should follow.
Yeah,
Gender equality promotion.
got you.
And if we do gender equality promotion in Rwanda, we know what we do by bringing this inclusiveness, youth, women. We know what we do because it's first of all recognizing that this role of women in preparing this nutritious food.
Yeah.
A second is to eliminate these gender stereotypes, where people say the meat is all for men, eggs are for men, and everything. So they have to understand that everybody has access to resources, to the finances, is to bring access to resources by women who are mostly involved in the preparation, in the purchase of this nutritious food. And then from there, gender equality should be at the forefront of having this healthy diet for Rwandans, even for Africans if they want. This is the only way we can overcome. Thank you.
Honorable Musafiri, thank you so much. I think he definitely deserves a round of applause. You've listed so many initiatives and so many entry points to really tackle this issue of not having access to nutritious food. And what it raises as a question is, certainly there is work being done. The question then becomes, how do we scale? Where there are pockets of excellence, how do we really scale? And that's the question we want to be vexed with as we leave here today. So let me wrap up the panel by going to Dr. Gunhild. And Dr. Gunhild, I really want you to give you the opportunity maybe to reflect on what you've heard from the other speakers, and your comment really to be, first and foremost, back to Professor's call to action. What do we do? I don't want to get off the stage with us having just spoken. I want us to get to action. What do you do from a policy perspective? What is your recommendation about what needs to be done from here? And is there anything that is critical that we have not touched on that you just want to bring to the surface?
Thank you so much. And two things. But first, I would just say that it's fantastic to be in beautiful Rwanda and at the African Food Forum. And talking about food as a system, not in bits and pieces, but really how do we achieve healthy, affordable diets to everybody, everywhere, from sustainable, resilient food systems. And that's very much thanks to you, Agnes Kalibata, for your leadership with the UN Food Systems Summit. And when it comes to what to do, we have heard many important interventions and suggestions here in the panel, but I think the most important right now, and which no government has yet done, Rwanda might be the very first, that is to actually now build on the fantastic work that was done during the UN Food Systems Summit, the national pathways that are great, but they are words on a paper. So now my number one recommendation would be to get this anchored as the highest level in governments. We need first ladies, but also first men. And this is not a nice to have. Access to healthy diets from sustainable food systems is actually a matter of national security, and it has to be owned by the whole government. So now the next step would be then to develop a cross-sectoral, multi-partner action plan that really reflects the true value, true cost of food across the whole of government, and then start to implement. That would be the number one. What has not been mentioned, Gerda, you were touching up on investment, and I think you said it too, but we need to start talking about shifting food finance.
Yeah.
Bob Dylan famously sung way back that money doesn't talk, money swears. And if we look into how money is flowing into food systems today, it's exactly that. And we need to now start to align food finance and financial instruments with health of people and health of the planet. And there's a very interesting initiative, the Good Food Finance Network, set up with Geta City and the World Bank and other partners, really trying to address shifting food finance and also making access to finance for those wanting to transform food systems available. And the last thing I would put as a question, really, we cannot talk about not being poor if you cannot access healthy diets. And we now know that although the international poverty line is $1.9 per capita a day, we know that the cost of healthy diets is $4 a day. So we need to start talking about lifting that international poverty line. So I think the most important thing we can agree on is in this forum is that really the next step now need to be the action plans that must be implemented, and obviously working across sectors and having this owned and prioritized by the highest level in governments.
Madam Moderator, Nosy, there
Yes.
is one thing before we close, because I know time is running.
Yeah, time is gone, but let's hear you.
But listen, it's also smart for a government, and since we have a Minister of State here and the First Lady, to look into different envelopes and combine them. There is a national determined contribution for COP, where there is a lot of money behind. There is the universal health coverage. And next to the funding, let money speak, it's also smart to combine agenda and create win-wins for both the people and the planet.
Okay, fabulous.
very
10
last
seconds.
word.
Yes, go for it.
So exactly to that, Gerda, because we can really create a system from today where we have many losers, from the current failing food systems to a system that creates multiple win-wins. And if governments start to align everything from agricultural subsidies to public procurement, taxes and incentives, and food-based dietary guidelines, we can really improve the health of people and planet with decent livelihoods for farmers.
Okay, so before we give you all a round of applause, I just want to not miss the actions that you've brought to the surface. We need to build on the work coming out of the Food Systems Summit, because that's the only way we make sure that that doesn't become another talk shop. Then we need to make sure that we're integrating that into our national pathways. We're saying food nutrition and access to nutritious food is a national security issue, so it's about lifting it up on the agenda. You've spoken about cross-sectional, multi-sectoral, whole-of-government approaches. I think it's been a theme that also, Minister, you touched on as well. We need to shift food finance, and some of the comments have been about that. How do we consolidate budgets so that they're win-win situations? Now, ladies and gentlemen, I've got two incredible chefs in the audience who are going to react to some of what we've heard here on the stage. But before they do, can we please just give my panelists a round of applause? What an excellent conversation. And this is what happens when you have action-orientated mindsets really leaning into the conversation. I'm going to ask you to stay, and let's lend an ear to the chefs as we stay on stage together. I'm going to invite Chef Alejandra Schrader to please, I believe you might have a microphone making its way to you now. And as she takes to the floor, allow me just to quickly raise the fact that she's an award-winning author, a plant-based nutrition chef, a food TV personality, and an activist based in Los Angeles. Chef, we're keen to hear from you. What's your message for us today?
Thank you so much for the opportunity to react to this wonderful panel and all the great interventions that we've heard today. So as a chef, as a steward of the planet, as a champion of the SDG, but most importantly, as a lactating mother of an infant, I heard so many important messages here today. The first one is that we need to act. And I want to remind everyone, whether you're a policymaker, a politician, a business person, there's not such thing as a small action. And as I call for all of us to take our responsibility to act and make these food systems better for everyone and good food available to all, I want to recognize the presence of young Rwandan chef students that are here today. And I want to, if you can please stand up so that we can recognize you.
Can we give them a round of applause, please? The young Rwandan chefs, can you be on your feet so we can see you? Lots of shy chefs in the audience, okay?
Come on, guys. You're the future.
Well, don't be shy and just know that you have a great sense of responsibility. Thank you for standing up and thank you for being here.
Ah, there you are.
Yes. Thank you. You are the future and you do have a great responsibility to help close the gap between food production and people. The other call of action that I would like to comment on is what was suggested about acting locally, supporting local farmers,
Yeah.
also embracing our local ingredients in championing heirloom foods and grains and seeds. I am a big proponent of beaner. Become a beaner. I am a beaner. Beans are the future. And lastly, going back to the basics, I love what was said, that the memories that appeal to our senses are the foods of our ancestors and our older family members. Like, let's go back to the bases, and that way we can help promote better food systems. It's great that the science already says that the same food that promotes great human health is the best food for our Mother Earth.
Ladies and gentlemen, Chef Schrader, let's give her a round of applause, please. And we're going to hear now from Chef Christian Abigan. As he takes to the microphone, allow me to introduce him briefly. He's a pioneer of new African cuisine, a chef advocate, an expert in gastronomy and food security issues, amongst many other hats. Chef, over to you.
Just hello to everybody. We just always I want you to talk about the taste.
Yeah.
Because we can talk about food programs, about products, if we are not talking about the taste and what we are going to use, the recipes. The main thing is to have the taste. Because when you want to give the food to a child, the same beans, if you don't have the real good taste, the different taste, because you have to educate the palate of the kids.
Yes.
This is very important, like in the school, in the canteen in the school, diversifying the food is the most, I think, always important thing that we have to do, all of us, to think about the taste. This is what I want only to say.
Chef, thank you very much. The taste of the food, and how do we diversify the palate so that it is embracing of that taste. Ladies and gentlemen.
Madam Moderator, before you close down.
I don't think we're going to end the panel, but let's give Gadda one more chance.
No. Because your summary was brilliant, and you did a brilliant job as moderator, and thank you for that. But I would like to make one amendment. I think we should rename the National Food Systems Pathways into National Food Systems Pathways Action and Implementation, because that is what is needed.
Ladies and gentlemen, I couldn't close it on a better note. Let's give our panelists a big round of applause. Thank you very, very much. Thank you for your time. Now, ladies and gentlemen, can we also give our chefs a big round of applause? Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Professor. Thank you very much, Honorable. Now, we're going into our very last sequence, ladies and gentlemen. And this is the sequence where we are upping our energy, because we are stepping now into a celebratory space. Now, I do know that I'm short. I am already on my tippy toes. So you'll have to bear with me on this one. Ladies and gentlemen, it's my pleasure now for us to really begin to focus on our wire competition and the winners. Let me give you some context before the winners come up. This award was launched in 2021 at the AGRF summit that was held in Nairobi in Kenya. And this, of course, WIRE stands for Women Agripreneurs of the Year Award. And it is an AGRA-led recognition scheme for women agripreneurs who have really achieved excellence in different segments of the agricultural value chain. Now, today we're going to be celebrating some of these women. The aim of the award, the purpose of the award, is how do we create visibility for successful women so that we can promote them as role models, we can trigger innovation, and we can spur even more ambition amongst young agri-entrepreneurs. The award winners all walk away with a fantastic prize of $20,000 US. Now, yes, that is good money. Now, to start us off, I do believe there's a short video that the technical team wants to play. As that video comes up, I'm going to invite one of the winners from 2021, Madam Hajia Salamatu Garba, who's just going to spend 2 minutes with a message to this year's winners. So as she comes up, can we please play the Wire video? Madam Hajia, if you could join me on stage, please.
Women have always been at the heart of Africa's agriculture, providing up to 50% of agricultural labor force, contributing to 70% of food production and accounting for 80 to 90% of food processors. From farm to fork, African women are players along the entire agricultural value chain. However, the agricultural sector is grossly underperforming, in part because women, who represent a crucial resource in agriculture, face severe constraints in assessing productive resources such as land, capital markets, among other business opportunities. An average African woman is a budding entrepreneur, and agriculture offers one of the greatest possibilities for women to realize their entrepreneurship dreams. Nonetheless, the contribution of female agripreneurs has been historically overlooked due to the small-scale nature of their enterprises. But a few women are changing the paradigm by leading innovative and profitable agribusiness enterprises. Their way forward is agribusiness, and the Women Agripreneurs of the Year Awards, WIRE, an initiative of Value for Her, are here to amplify this.
Please allow me to unveil the Value for Her Women Entrepreneur of the Year Awards winner 2021.
The Value for Her Women Agripreneurs of the Year Awards, WIRE, recognizes African female agripreneurs who have excelled in the agricultural value chains and have demonstrated remarkable innovation by contributing positively towards food security, climate resilience, women and youth empowerment. The awards aim to create visibility, promote the winners as role models, trigger innovation, and spur ambition among women agripreneurs. The award categories are 1. Young female agripreneurs, 2. Outstanding value-adding enterprise, and 3. Female Ag Tech Innovator. Welcome to the Women Agripreneurs of the Year Awards, WIRE 2022 edition. With this edition, we are bringing you the continent's top female agripreneurs, the women driving Africa's food systems, our food champions.
Please try again.
Thank you very much, Your Excellency, and all distinguished guests in the hall. A very warm good morning. I want to first of all appreciate the fact that last year I won the Value for Her Award for 2021, and that was the beginning of motivation, a bigger motivation for me, because I run an organization that is 28 years old, popularly known as WOFAN in Nigeria, and we have over 45,000 members that are into enterprise development. Now, upon receiving that award, I declared that I commit that award to the development of the rural women. And I wanted to match words with action. What I did with what I received was to go to the street and look out for 100 street vendors, those women that roast the corn on the street, those ones with babies on their back, whether it's sunny or it's raining, they sit there and do the work. And I bought 100 umbrellas and provided them with items that they are selling and branded it WIRE 2021. And not to walk on one leg, we got 20 males also that are working towards the development of entrepreneurship and also supported them. Now, why am I saying this? It means that whatever you invest in a woman does not go in vain. So, ladies and gentlemen, what we are investing in the women today, we know that it's going to multiply itself. Now, having said that, I would like to also add my voice to the call in shaping nutrition in Africa. If you ask me what I'll go back to these women and do after a second opportunity is given to me, I'm going to add value to what they are doing in terms of nutrition and make sure that they now produce nutritious food, like snacks that will address malnutrition. And what is malnutrition that we're talking about? It is either excess nutrients or less. So that is why the world is always saying the haves and have-not. But now, why can we not make it a challenge? In the next 5 years, let Africa be we have, so that the haves will reduce the excess they have, and then we jack up the less, so that all of us will meet in the middle and have a balanced society. Having said that, I'm one of the admirers of Her Excellency's work. I never knew I will ever cite Madam Excellency of Rwanda. This is a big opportunity for me. Thank you for what you are doing, Your Excellency. Now, may I remind us that there is this notion that says, if you want it said, say it to a man. If you want it done, say it to a woman. Ladies and gentlemen, today, I want to propose that, please, can we make the first ladies in Africa the ambassadors of fighting malnutrition in Africa? If this is okay, it's going to trickle down up to the rural community. Every woman will be an ambassador in her capacity, and we are going to see it done by the grace of God. So I pray that we'll be able to address this. And to the awardees, congratulations. I was so excited. And I was anxious last year because we were the 5 runner-ups. So I know what you are feeling. I challenge you all to walk up in pride, to lift the flag of entrepreneurship. They normally say that women have no voice. It's not true. Women have voice. They are not listened to. Lift entrepreneurship so that we will be listened to. Walk into dignity in whatever you are doing. And ladies and gentlemen, I propose also an alumni of the awardees of WIRE, so that all of us will have a strategic plan, not just taking the award and walking out, but let us have an action that all of us will queue into. Congratulations and thank you all.
Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. I think you've heard from Madame Haja. If you want it said, say it to a man. If you want it done, say it to a woman. Let's give her a big round of applause, please. Thank you very much, Madame. You may take your seat. Now, ladies and gentlemen, it is that moment. Before we really get to the winners, I just want to do 2 special shout-outs. I first want to acknowledge all the women agripreneurs in the room. I've been told that many of them come from every corner of the continent. It's not every single person who's getting an award here today, but they've shown up in their numbers to support each other and to do as Madame Haja is saying, and that is to raise the flag of entrepreneurship. If you are a woman agripreneur, can you please stand so we can just acknowledge you in this moment? There they are, standing in different parts of the room. Let's give them a round of applause, please. Absolutely excellent. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. This moment is about you and all the possibilities that you are reflecting and expressing to all of us right now. Now, my second shout out is to all of our judges, without whom this journey would not be possible. I just want to acknowledge them by name. I want to acknowledge Madame Irene Okem, founder and CEO of AWIF. I want to acknowledge Madame Evelyn Museyoka, smallholder strategy lead at Bayer. Madame Mariam Esther Dasanu, a FAO manager at the African Development Bank. Madame Betty Kiplagat, government affairs leader looking after Africa and the Middle East at Koteva. Madame Robin Anderson, president at Emerging Ag Inc. And Madame Binta Turendoya, board member at AGRA. Can we give them a big round of applause, please? I'm going to ask a special person to join me up on stage who's going to help with the receiving of the gifts and the handing out. Madame Vanessa Adams, Vice President for Strategic Partnerships at AGRA, if you could join me up on stage, please. And, oh, fabulous. Thank you very much. Let's give a big round of applause. Yeah, of course, to Madame Sabria Adido. Thank you for being here with us. Let's give them both a round of applause. Thank you very much. So, ladies and gentlemen, we've got 4 awards that we're going to hand out. I'm going to call a judge for each of the awards. The judge is just going to give us a quick snippet of context about that award, what the competition was like, and then the judge will announce that winner. So, we're starting off with the Young Female Agripreneur Award. And to help us hand out this award, please might I invite Madame Marian Esther Dasanu to please come up on stage. Let's give her a round of applause, please.
Good morning. Your Excellency, Madame Jeannette Kagame, First Lady of the Republic of Rwanda. Your Excellency, Madame Roman Tesfaye, former First Lady of Ethiopia. All First Ladies represented here, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, all protocols observed. It is my pleasure this morning, as the FAO manager at the African Development Bank, to present the Young Female Agripreneur, also known as the WIA Young Rising Star of the Year Award. And let me start by saying it was very difficult to actually pick a winner because all the women entrepreneurs were good. So this particular category recognizes the women agripreneurs under the age of 35 with innovative and scalable businesses. This year, WIA Rising Star runs a company called Jelma. Jelma in Wolof means take me. She's young, dedicated, from the Gambia, and the first tea producer in her country. She works with young women to produce and add value to local food products, including tea, honey, baby foods, and herbal seasoning. Currently operating with 6 employees, our WIA 2022 Rising Stars ambition is to make Jelma a household name that is capable to compete with the like brands of Lipton. So companies, watch out. She's a leader and a role model to many young women in the Gambia and embodies the drive and dynamism that women entrepreneurs, and more specifically young women entrepreneurs, bring to our quest of accelerating Africa's economic growth. So without further ado, join me in congratulating the 2022 WIA Young Rising Star of the Year, Miss Fatou Mane from the Gambia.
Congratulations. Let's give her a final round of applause, please. Thank you very much. Now, I'm going to ask our winners and our judges to please stay on the stage with us. If you can just move to the right-hand side of the stage, because we are going to have a group photo, so I'm going to ask you to just stay on stage for us for a little bit longer. Madams Vanessa and Madame Zidio, I'm going to need you back in the center because you've got more winners that you've got to congratulate. Ladies and gentlemen, to the second of 4 awards. This award is the Female Ag Tech Innovator Award. And the judge to help us award this award is Madame Betty Kiplagat. Let's give her a round of applause as she comes up, please.
I stand on all protocols. This category is one of those exciting categories. If we know what technology is, we are all holding phones in our hands, and that's what technology does. So there has been significant growth in digitalization for agriculture over the last 10 years. Yesterday, I attended the Go-Getters nominations and where all the contestants, and they talked fabulous things about technology. And I know, and we all know and believe that innovation, technology, is actually a way that will help us achieve our dream in ensuring the smallholder farmer is able to track their produce right from the farm to the shop and money in their pocket. So we are very excited to see such rich category. We had 272 applicants and all women. So first of all, kudos to all the tech agripreneurs. I am very excited to say we really struggled to select the best of the best. But being judges, we had one role, and our winner comes from very far. She only comes from Rwanda, so. She runs an organization called Maui Tech. Maui Tech is an agri-tech firm based in Rwanda, whose mission is to digitalize agriculture in Africa, currently serving 20,000 farmers, smallholder farmers, providing access to high-end markets and financing via Mlima Digital Marketplace, and consequently increasing farmers' incomes and sales. The lady who runs this wonderful innovation is Lillian Owintuali, and I hope Lillian is here with us. She has won amazing, amazing categories. So please, let's salute Lillian as she comes up for her award. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Madam. Ladies and gentlemen, a round of applause for Lillian. Thank you very much. We're moving on now to the third award of 4. And this award is for Outstanding Value-Adding Enterprise. And to help us acknowledge...
Un honneur annoncer le prix pour l'entreprise à valeur ajoutée. Value addition is an essential part of making nutritious food available. And today's winner did this in a very innovative way. She focused on one of Africa's great icons, the baobab. Her company, Kiel Bien-Être, transforms the leaves and fruits into many products, including oil, biscuits, coffee, and like many of the First Ladies who were on the stage today, she is very passionate about nutrition. We, the judges, were so impressed to see her focus on particularly the market needs of children, pregnant women, and the elderly, some of them the most important vulnerable communities that need access to food. And it was such a joy reviewing all of the finalists for the judging. In this regard, I have a particular honor in my role as the Secretariat for the International Agri-Food Network, that we have invited all of the finalists to participate in a mentorship program where women leaders from around the world will assist with mentoring them in conjunction with FAO, who will conduct trainings for them to help accelerate these fantastic businesses. So it is my particular honor, avec grand plaisir, de nommer la femme qui a gagné, Cecilia Chabi, Kiel Bien-Être from Nigeria.
Congratulations, Celia Chabi, on your award. Thank you very much. Let's make sure we get an opportunity for a picture. And let's give a final round of applause, ladies and gentlemen. This is an excellent moment for Celia Chabi. Celia, if you may then also make your way so that you join us for the group photo. Now, ladies and gentlemen, it is time for the last and final award. And this is the grand award winner. So this is a special moment. And I've been asked to really commemorate this special moment by kindly, with observing all protocol, calling on our First Lady, Her Excellency Kagame, as well as former First Lady, Her Excellency Tesfaye, to please join us on stage for this award. And also to invite Madame Binta Toure, who's going to hand out the award, and to also call on Dr. Kalibata to be part of those handing over the award. So to our judge, Judge Ndoye, if you can come to the podium, and to our First Ladies and Dr. Kalibata, if you may just join us in the center of the stage as we make way for the grand award winner.
Your Excellency, First Lady of the Republic of Rwanda, Your Excellency Roman, former First Lady of Ethiopia, Your Excellency, your husband is not around. He is our great chairman of the Agra board, our great president, Dr. Agnes Kalibata, my colleagues from the Agra board, and distinguished guests, all protocol observed. I think it has been mentioned earlier on that it has been very difficult for our judges to select and honor our three winners. So we had to check all the boxes, and it is a great pleasure for me today to be able to distinguish a grand winner. So we have just celebrated our three women, agripreneurs of the year, the Rising Star from the Gambia, or value-added entrepreneur from Nigeria, or AgTech innovator from the Republic of Rwanda. So now I have the immense and great pleasure to announce our grand winner of the year. Out of a total of 1,478 applications received across 38 countries. Our grand winner today, she's an amazing woman. She is, the least I can say, engaged and action-oriented. She is bold. She is a woman of action, as I mentioned. She has a real passion about rural communities, and she takes actions to change the existing and create value in her community. She has a sense of purpose, and she has an inspiring story which leads her today here. Her story starts in a village called Alayede in Nigeria. It is a village which had no roads, no power, but farmers cultivating cassava. And as you heard this morning, cassava is our traditional product. Having a chemistry background, her powerful idea was to push for healthy cassava production on healthy soils. And I'm sure Gerda would totally agree with that, as well as the commissioner who was earlier here. And her great idea was to transform the cassava into local value-added consumption products. I have a question for the audience. Did you know that cassava was used in toothpaste? Did you know that? No, as I thought so. Well, it is so, and our grand winner is the first African and second in the world to produce sorbitol for cassava for the toothpaste industry. And she's using also her products, cassava, for other consumption products such as cereals produced in Nigeria and internationally. So let me announce today our value for her Wire Grand Winner, who is impacting the life of more than 100,000 people by working with small farmers holders. Her name is Oluyemisi Iranlowe from Nigeria. And I have a second great news to share, since she shared with me this morning that she got married this week. So double congratulations.
Ladies and gentlemen, I think we can give Oluyemisi a bigger round of applause. This is a significant achievement as she receives her award. Absolutely congratulations, and that is of course our grand award winner for 2022. Can we give all of our winners a round of applause, please? Thank you so much for being and standing in with us for this special moment. We're going to close off now with a special group photo. So I'm going to invite the following people to please join us. I'm going to start off by asking all the 4 awardees to please stay on stage. This moment is about you. I'm going to ask the Vice President of AGRA to stay on stage, please. Vanessa, I'm going to ask the First Ladies to please stay on stage. But I'm going to ask our First Lady, if everybody can step forward. I think somebody's going to help us with the directing now. I'm also going to call on the former Prime Minister of Ethiopia. He's in the room, His Excellency, to join us. And of course, I'm going to call on the Right Honourable Patricia Scotland, if she is with us in the room, if she can join us. I'm going to welcome back our Minister of State in the Ministry of Agriculture, Honourable Musafiri.